Now I'm going to scroll down here and do question B of the exploratory challenge. This one's a word problem. Xavier earns $11.50 per hour working at the nearby grocery store. Last week, Xavier worked for 13.5 hours. How much money did Xavier earn last week? I'm going to round to the nearest penny. Now, if you come upon a problem like this, you have to know that you're going to multiply. Yeah, I know that's what we said in our goal of this lesson, but what happens if you are not told that you're going to be multiplying? You got to find what you have to understand why you're multiplying. If you look at this, if you see some information in there that is a rate, notice that's a rate, a unit rate. We can write rates as ratios. Remember back in the first module, we could say that that means 1150 to 1. And then notice the other piece of information is not a rate. But we could put that in a ratio. Remember the old equivalent ratios tool, where you make one ratio equal to the other? You have to just put the information in the right place. Catch it under hours. Then you say to yourself, 1 times what gives me 13.5? Well, that means I got to multiply that by 13.5. In order to get my correct amount of money, I'm also going to have to multiply that by 13.5. So don't forget those tools that we've learned from earlier modules. They give you a clue as to what operations you need to do on word problems. Now at that point, we can go ahead and set up our multiplication problem involving decimals. Remember, you don't have to line up decimal points. You can deal with the decimal points at the end. We're going to treat this first as multiplying 1,150 times 135, and then we're going to put the decimal points in our final answer. So starting with the 5, right to left, I'm going to have 5 times 0, which is 0. 5 times 5, which is 25, so I'm going to carry that 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 2 is 7. And then 5 times 1, which is 5. I've taken care of the 5. I want to erase the carryovers and put a 0 to hold that place value. Now I'm going to go on to the 3's. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. And then 3 times 1 is 3. I've taken care of the 3. Erase my carryovers. Put 2 zeros down to hold places. And then deal with the 1. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 1 again is 1. Running out of room here. Slide over a little bit. That way I can put my plus sign here. And now I'm going to add up my columns. Right to left. 0, 0, 0 is 0. 5 plus 0 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 plus 0 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5. I'm going to add my 5's together first to get 10. Add a 1 is 11. Add a 4 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. And then a 1. Finally, I'm going to put my decimal point in the right place. I've got 2 places to the right in that factor, 1 place to the right in that factor, so that tells me in my answer I need 3 places to the right of the decimal point, which means my decimal point goes right there. Now, since this is a word problem, 1 in a sentence, and also remember, you have to round to the nearest penny. If I'm rounding to the nearest penny, I got to first find the penny's place. That 5 is setting in the hundredths or the penny's place. What's to the right of it? Is it 5 or above? We'll give the 5 a shove. If it's 4 or below, we're going to let the 5 go. Well, it's below 4, so we're going to let that 5 go. We're going to drop that 0 behind it, and we're going to keep everything else in front of it. Finally, we're going to answer it in a sentence. Xavier earned $155.25 last week.